Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly F.O.C. show, Go F.O.C. Yourself, where we are talking about all of the fun and fancy books that you should be looking for when you're doing your final order cutoff checks. My name is Brandon. I'm here, as always, on my day off because it is Friday. At home, going through some stuffs and doing some things. So I want to try and see if I can do this. I'm very excited about a new book called Tankers from Bad Idea, which we are getting here in our store. We are going to require final numbers on that by, I think, Wednesday. So I want to see if I can share the video here. I haven't been able to download it ourselves, but good freaking gravy is this video something else. So I'm going to see if I can do this window share. And if this works, if I'm doing it that way. Yeah, it looks like it does. Are you ready? Because Tankers looks freaking bonkers.
Professional comic book writer, and I want you to know about the new Bad Idea comic book series, Tanker. As the world well knows, I'm what's called a method writer. That means before I begin a project, I don't just study the material. So to take a deep dive into the subject, I came to the one place on Earth where I can operate mechanized combat equipment, dig for oil, and shoot dinosaurs. Texas tea, baby! I'm down the tank! No oil yet? Every second of my immersive research experience guarantees that Tankers is unlike anything you've read from me before. I should know. I've read everything I've ever written. Tankers is about a crack team of mercenaries and mech suits who work for Greenleaf Oil. They get sent back in time to divert the comet to kill the dinosaurs. More dinosaurs in the past means more oil in the present. Who doesn't love that? And with a superstar art team providing breathtaking covers and interiors, Tankers is an action-fueled thrill ride of human versus dinosaur warfare that we can't wait for you to read. So go ahead, order Tankers today. I guarantee I'll be glad you did. As for me, I'll be finishing off these dinosaurs. Extinction Day.
So, folks, I guess if you like some good old-fashioned American violence, you're going to want yourself some Tankers. It's going to be us and Wonder Harbor here in the city that will be getting that. That's it for Alberta, really. So if y'all want that from Alberta, that's us. Or no, wait. There's some stores in Calgary. But really, Western Canada has maybe 4 stores getting Bad Idea books. And Pachow, we're one of them. It looks fun. It looks very dinosaur murdery. So not for ye oldie kiddos. Which should be, like a big thing to worry about if you've got kids who are just like, man, I love dinos. You might not want them to watch them get violently murdered. Because yeah, that's not great for their brain meats. All right. We're going to get into the final order cutoffs right away here, and we're going to pop that. Gonna press some buttons, gonna make the thing go. All right, so that looks like it's working. So let's burn through some of these here. Going through, as always, we kind of gloss over things that have been running for a little while. But Big Girls number 1 is here. It's about, as you can see here, when men become giant monsters destroying the world, only girls can stop them. Big Girls meet Ember. She writes poetry, loves to read, and she's 300 feet tall. and her full-time job is killing monsters. Her and the other girls are all that stands in the way between our world's complete annihilation. Uh, Critically acclaimed artist Jason Howard takes the full creative reins, writing and drawing a tale that could only be described as a cross between John Wick and Godzilla by way of HBO's Girls. I can't speak to the veracity of the Girls thing because I have not watched Girls. I don't feel like giving Lena Dunham any of my attention or money because she got some ideas about some things. But I can speak to the veracity of John Wick and Godzilla because it's a very murdery book and it's got giant people and kaiju monsters in it. So that's a fun thing here. Deep Beyond is getting a second print cover. For those who missed out on the first print, we do still have first prints. So it means it's sold out in a lot of places, but ka-chow. We're doing pretty good with keeping some stuffs in stock for y'all. But if you did miss it, depending on where you are in the world, Deep Beyond, you can still get a chance to do it. The story at least will pop up the second issue description of it. Paul hasn't recovered from the mysterious Jolene's shocking resemblance to Pamela. Oh, very sci-fi, but very soap opera. And for the meek and fearful scientist, the situation is already getting worse. The scary sea monsters who rush them seem to be unbeatable. Will there be a way to survive? Outside help will be needed. And luckily, they will make some new friends who will help them survive. And in the meantime, Pam is trapped in the deep ocean. So basically, yes, it is your kind of deep sea sci-fi soap opera thriller, but with Mirka Andolfo on the writer's side here, which is very, very fun all the time, with David Goy as the co-writer and Andrea Bracaro doing the art. It's if you're like yourself some deep sea sci-fi stuff, this is definitely a way to go about getting your kicks in. What do we got here? Getting it together is basically like, hey, what if Friends was a whole lot more queer? It is a really, really great comic book series that I will fully admit will work 100% better in this graphic novel. If you want sort of a Friends feel with a little bit more drama, but a lot more queer representation, this is the book that you want to land in. Sam and Jack are best friends, and Sam is dating Lauren, Jack's indie rocker sister, and roommate. Tensions skyrocket when Sam and Lauren decide to open their long-term relationship, sending social shockwaves through their friend group and the entire Bay Area, leaving poor Jack caught in the middle. Basically, yes, it is a little messy. It is a lot of fun. And it is about 20-somethings kind of getting their stuff together. It is basically Comics Friends, but with a lot of queer representation. I highly, highly recommend it. Homesick Pilots is definitely one of Danica's absolute favorites. You can watch some of our old streams to dig into the goods there. It's a fantastic slight horror series. But oh goodness, is it some good stuff. And you've got your Jamie McKelvey bonus cover here. If y'all are fans of Jamie McKelvey and just kind of want a good thing in your faces. We've got Carmen #1, a few different covers. Spanish writer and artist Guillaume March is best known for his ongoing extensive work with DC Comics on Batman, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn, and has worked as an artist on several graphic novels, including the English editions of Monica with Titan Comics and The Dream with Europe Comics. Here, he takes his pen for an edgy 5-part series about a highly unconventional angel named Carmen and the young woman she takes under her wing when a case of heartbreak strikes hard, packed with surprises and metaphysics. This gorgeously drawn series deploys tenderness and humor as it dives deep into topics that matter. Guillaume March is also the main artist on the Joker book coming from DC Comics. So this is definitely a different take from him, and works on some more relationship stuff and has a bunch of kind of amazing covers out and about here. The blank cover is not shown, but I'll give you like half a guess as to what that looks like. It's blank. Ooh, fancy. I wish I had a button for something. We've got a whole lot of buttons that do a whole lot of things. One of my favorites that really doesn't apply to much of anything.
You're lactose intolerant.
You're lactose intolerant. It makes me smile on the inside. Scumbag Volume 1 is coming out. This is basically about the worst human you possibly could know, accidentally getting magical powers and being the only person who can save the world from just horrible, horrible decimation. Goodness gracious, is this a dirty, gross book if you are into sort of the Garth Ennis vein of storytelling of just horrible people maybe doing horrible things but trying to be good people, or maybe not even trying to be good people. You got yourself something in Scumbag here. Dark Horse, what you got for us? The Black Hammer Visions book is continuing with a lot of self-contained stories in Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer universe. Y'all, this one has Jeff Johns and Scott Collins, the creative team that really invigorated The Flash quite some time ago while I was still living in central Alberta. They've got them doing a Black Hammer verse story. It says, with a creepy tale about a young boy who flees a kidnapper only to find himself trapped in the cabin of horrors and face to face with the mysterious Madame Dragonfly. It's a really interesting series that digs into the world. You don't have to know the world to really enjoy this. If you're a Jeff Johns fan, you can kind of pop into this and it will be okay. But Black Hammer is its own kind of superhero universe, and it's really building some very interesting things. Some folks might know Resident Alien from it being on Sci-Fi, and probably whatever the Sci-Fi equivalent is over here in Canada. Can't remember. But Alan Tudyk is playing the main character, and the 6th volume of his comic series is out soon. However, you can also get the first bits in a really good omnibus that is out. Here's what it says here. Harry's learned a lot about himself and the possibility of that other aliens have been stranding on Earth too. So basically, it's about a young alien who is just trying to figure out his way on Earth, and just some wild kind of happenstance, funny things are happening. The folks who are getting this at our store in single issues absolutely adore Resident Alien. We are very excited ourselves to kind of check out what Resident Alien is about, and we'll kind of go there. Psycho Red says, "Icky, Jeff Johns. I mean, you're not wrong. Jeff Johns is certainly a dude who is doing some stuff right now. He is running Stargirl, and was one of the principal players of DC's more media empire. He was in comics for a long time, focusing on that mainly, and then kind of went off and is doing a lot of the DC TV stuff right now. He's a big part of it. He's an executive producer on a lot of the shows, and going through a lot of that. But you might notice him as one of the people that the dude who played Cyborg. I'm Ray something. I'm not doing totally well with my brain space right now. But it is one of his main complainers that Jeff Johns enabled Joss Whedon on the set of Justice League to be an absolute garbage person. Ray Fisher. Thank you, Psycho Red. Yeah. And yeah, don't doubt that at all. Jeff Johns seems to be sort of like a status quo type duder, doing his stuff. Talented comic book writer. Black Hammer is really amazing. I understand why Jeff Johns is attached to this, because Jeff Lemire probably would have reached out, knowing Dark Horse's stuff in advance. How Dark Horse likes to have their things ready in advance, probably a long time ago. But yeah, still problematic. Black Hammer stuff in general is really good. As Simone is asking where to start with Black Hammer. The main series, absolutely. They do a lot of spin-off series, but it's fairly easy to kind of get on the ground level. Black Hammer Volume 1. It may or may not be in our managed system to order easily because it is a little bit older. There's about 4 volumes of the main series right now. It's a really, really great series about superheroes who have essentially been pushed out of their own reality and end up on a farm. And a lot of it plays on a lot of different superhero tropes to really go forward in the story. And they build their own universe around it. There's a whole bunch of spin-offs that take place both in the old universe and currently, and it's just they're really incredible stories, and I love the series myself. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm excited for the wrap up of the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, but of course I would be. Gerard Way's comics are absolutely fantastic. You might know him as the lead singer of My Chemical Romance or the co-creator of Umbrella Academy. Regardless, the dude is incredibly talented. He used to be an intern at DC Comics before he was mega famous, before My Chemical Romance and all that kind of stuff. So he comes by a lot of the comic stuff very naturally, and he definitely pulls from the Grant Morrison school of wild ass superhero ideas. True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys is a bit of marrying of the two passions of music and comics, because one of the last, if not the last, if I'm remembering properly, CDs, albums that My Chemical Romance did was the concept album True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. And this has just some absolutely amazing artwork and absolutely bonkers storytelling. If you want sort of like a Mad Max by way of Doom Patrol, you want True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. You don't need to have read anything else but that arc. And there will be a collection in the near future-ish. Danica says, I'm waiting on a restock of Volume 1 if anyone's interested. Yeah, we do have those on order for Black Hammer, and definitely kind of getting that through there. And Simone says, I am definitely intrigued. So cool. I will say that a lot of times we'll get messages on a bit of a delay. We'll skip the DC stuff because we'll hit that up in our lunar stuff. That'll be more accurate than what you're going to see. But yeah, definitely a lot of things. Just let us know some specifics in your comments, because sometimes it'll come in a little later when we get the comments on our end. For those of you wondering, Danica's at work and I'm at home, and that's how we run the store on Fridays. But it's the opposite on Sundays. Danica is hanging out here, and I am at work doing exactly this: the final order cutoffs, making sure everyone's getting the things that they need. So there's going to be a third printing of The Amazing Spider-Man number 55. It's got a nice blue cover, very crisp, very awesome. You'll note in the future, Pat Gleason is also doing a Man-Thing cover in this vein as well. That'll be green, kind of expanding on that stuff here. Amazing Spider-Man has a nice Michael Cho two-tone cover. I love Michael Cho's work. And we have Captain America Anniversary Tribute that has Captain America celebrates 80 years of battling tyranny this month, which I absolutely love as a pull quote. This really is more of a reprint, but it's a nice cheap way to get some of the most important first Captain America stories, including Captain America Comics #1, the cover of which has Captain America punching Hitler in the face before America entered World War II, because comics have never ever been political, and also his first appearance in the Silver Age era in Avengers #4 when he returns from the ice, when he was real chilly, just super chilly. Never, 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 never apologize, lady. I'm feeling a weird vibe right now, so yeah. I kind of I kind of lost because I was just like, I like Danica. She's really cool. And I miss you. Hi. Um, yeah, no, never, never apologize for things. It's all good. And she also says, "Hi everyone. I like that you're commenting on YouTube, because no one comments on YouTube, which I understand. It's probably our least kind of watched medium, but at the same time, understand because everyone's got sort of the areas that they're comfortable with and where the chats are going to be, and but still love to see it. Folks who want to grab some old school Captain America in a big freaking format can continue with that with Captain America Omnibus. Let us know if you want something like that. Children of the Atom, the X-Men Children of the Atom is finally freaking coming out. It's part of the big Jonathan Hickman X-Men line, but with Vita Ayala and Bernard Chang providing some new characters. And it says, when did the X-Men get sidekicks? Now! Don't miss the debut of the greatest teenage superhero team of all time. They've learned from the best, and now they're being put to the test. But who the heck are these kids, and where did they come from? Guest starring the X-Men. Love that. Yeah, new kid characters. They have not had an all ages sort of like teen team in the X line, and it is about time that they kind of got going on something like that. Very excited for people doing that stuff. Hey, check it out. Ba-ba-bow. Also, really like your emoji on Facebook. I keep forgetting about it. Definitely adventurer style. All right, what else do we have? Deadpool's Nerdy 30, which has a whole bunch of Deadpool's past creators coming in. It doesn't say here, but you got yourself some Rob Liefeld. You got yourself some Joe Kelly. You've got yourself some Daniel Way. You've got Scotty Young. You've got Gail Simone. You've got Kelly Thompson from the most recent run, and a couple others. Brian F.O.C, Jerry Duggan, folks who basically are known for their ongoing Deadpool writing. They're all here. They're all telling stories because this dude is 30 years old, which is bonkers. Which means like basically Deadpool was made when I was 5, which is accurate. But it still makes me feel old because he is quote unquote a modern superhero character, which makes me always feel freaking old. What else are we doing here? You see that the Michael Cho two-tone covers are going to be a theme. They're also, I believe, using a lot of these covers for the upcoming Marvel Masterworks redos that they're doing in a graphic novel size for all ages. So starting from the beginning of all of these characters and going forward. Apologies. They are basically going to be redoing the Marvel Masterworks stuff, which has all the first appearances from way back in the 60s, and doing them for all ages, which is a market that needs to be covered. There's the all ages market that really just wants some new stories made for them in a modern era. And there's all ages folks who want to go back to the beginning, and having that in a format that they recognize and can hold in their hands. Just an amazing, amazing concept. Really, really excited for that to happen for a lot of folks. I think a lot of the rest of these are ongoing. Ooh, girl, Thor and Loki, Double Trouble, This is Mariko Tamaki and Girihu, who did a Spider-Man Venom double trouble where the characters ended up kind of body swapping a little bit. A fantastic all ages story. They're doing a Thor and Loki where they're brothers, gods, and son of Odin, but Thor and Loki don't get along, especially since Loki keeps tricking Thor into doing things that will get him in trouble. Even so, when Loki dares Thor to steal a powerful relic from Odin's vault, how can the god of thunder say nay? So shenanigans with some bros, bro shenanigans. Some for the all ages stuff, I highly recommend the series and especially the Spider-Man Venom double trouble, especially for folks. And there's a lot of folks who are like, my kid loves Venom. What is kind of appropriate for him where the dude is not biting people's heads off? The Spider-Man Venom double trouble is really a great place to do that. Kieran Gillen's Warhammer 40K Marnius Calgar series that came out is still coming out from Marvel Comics with Jason Burrows doing the art is here. If you want some fun Warhammer 40K stuff with the skulls, with the butta bullets and all of that jazz, then that's the stuff that you want. Dynamite, we usually just kind of breathe through. Breathe through. We breeze through because they're doing their own thing with Vampirella and Red Sonja almost exclusively, and that's not a bad thing. It's they're kind of like killing it with those books, but they are a specific audience. Fully admit that. Luna is continuing. I know it's one of Danica's absolute favorites because Maria Lovett is one of her absolute favorites. This is sort of like a psychedelia, a desert story about a young girl who's kind of finding herself, and super awesome. I'm also very excited for Proctor Valley Road #1. This one, as it says here, perfect for fans of Paper Girls and Die. Visionary writer Grant Morrison and Alex Child with art from Naomi Franquez present a chilling new horror series about the mysterious monsters that haunt Proctor Valley Road and the 4 misfit teenagers who must stop them. August, Riley, Cora, and Jenny have organized a spook tour with their classmates on the most haunted, demon-infested stretch of road in America to fund attending the concert of their dreams. When their visit turns deadly, these 4 friends race to rescue the missing students, but before the town tears themselves from limb to limb. Now, they must slay the evils roaming Proctor Valley Road, along with the monsters lurking in the hearts of 1970s America. I have read the first issue of this just a little bit before we went live here. And it really does have sort of like half modern Ghostbusters vibe. The best Ghostbusters, challenge me on that, challenge Danica on it. We will fight you and you will lose. Full stop. But with a wonderful, nice YA take with a lot of deep, creeping horror elements. It's really beautiful and highly evocative. If you're looking at some of these covers that you're seeing here, you're going to get this sort of like ethereal feel, which is really cool. And I really kind of love what that's happening there. We only find them when they're dead. Volume 1 is coming out. The Discover Now version means that this is going to be in comic stores in this version before anywhere else until the full version is released. I think a full month or 2 afterwards. But this cover is exclusive to comic stores. The story is about a group of people on a spaceship who basically harvest space gods' organs on the black market. It's a lot about how corporations kind of like horn in on things where where people are just trying to live their lives and make by. It's a little bit of a love story. It's a little bit of a sci-fi epic. It's a little bit of people looking up at gods, realizing that death is a part of life and dealing with it. It's a bit of everything. And Al Ewing and Simone DeMeo just absolutely kill it with this series. It is big, it's small, it's epic, it's heartfelt. It hits all of the buttons, and it just, oh my God, I'm so excited that this is going to get into a lot of people's hands. Finally in graphic novel format, because it is such a wonderful big book. And I'm so excited to pop that into folks' hands. Some of this stuff in the comics and graphic novel section has been here before, like Bear With Me. We've talked about that in the past. I love the pun. But you're also finding things like Betty and Veronica Friends Forever. It's got the old school Archie art, telling some stories about the springtime. You've got Blade Runner 2019 Artist Edition, which will basically get you the first arc of the Blade Runner 2019 comic that ties in with the original movie in beautiful black and white art edition. So Process Folk, really take a look at that. The Cult of Dracula, #1. I know a lot of people have been adding this to their file. A lot of people are very excited about this, and for good reason. I think we might have talked about it last week and it's been delayed. I think because a lot of people have been really like digging its feel. Special Agent Malcolm Bram arrives at the House of the Rising Sun. This secluded compound is the home of secretive Ordo Dracul, and the scene of a horrendous crime coined the Cult of Dracula mass suicides. Mina Murray leads a documentary film crew to discover the secrets of the mysterious cult by interviewing its enigmatic leader, Robert Renfield. Neither investigator is prepared for the gravity of the truths they will uncover. So that is, I believe, back on F.O.C. Because I feel like I have talked about it before. And like I said, folks have been adding it. It seems like a really cool book with some really interesting art. I am very excited for that to get into people's hands. What else do we have? Did you know there's Invader Zim comic book series that is very pitch perfect to the show? You want to know why it's pitch perfect to the show? At least the very first volume is co-written by the Invader Zim creator, Jonan Vasquez, and really has that weird, wild, dark sci-fi to it. The whole series really carries it through, and you can get yourself some volumes, including some best ofs if you want some character-specific stuff happening there. Let's talk about it. I'm very excited about this. This is from the folks who have done my brain. It's from Erica Moen and Matthew Nolan. I'm going to pop that up so that I can actually tell you what I'm trying to talk about. It makes my brain hurt. Ojoy Sex Toy. They do Ojoy Sex Toy. They are at the forefront of sexual education in the form of comics anyways, but just in general, for folks, really learning about how sex works in general. Here, let's talk about it. Is the Teens a Guide to Sex Relationships and Being Human? Is what I'm feeling normal? Is what my body is doing? Is what my body is doing normal? Am I normal? How do I know what are the right choices to make? How do I know how to behave? How do I know? How do I fix it when I make a mistake? Let's talk about it. Growing up is complicated. How do you find the answers to all the questions you have about yourself, about your identity, and about your body? Let's Talk About It provides a comprehensive, thoughtful, well researched graphic novel guide to everything you need to know, covering relationships, friendships, gender, sexuality, anatomy, a body image, safe sex, sexting, jealousy, rejection, sex education, and more. Let's Talk About It is a go to handbook for every teen and the first in graphic novel form. A great resource going to people forward. Danica got me. Thank you so much. I probably could have just let that ride while she did that. And Simone says, we only find them when they're dead is on pull list. Can you make sure that you get the secret cover, a special cover? Absolutely. We will make sure that happens. I feel like you're really going to enjoy that book, which is going to be cool. What else do we have? Maniac of New York. I need to read it, reiterate with some people, is an outstanding horror book that really does take sort of modern fears and recontextualize it as a slasher story. There's basically this force, Maniac Harry, that is unstoppable in the city of New York. And the government has basically decided that, like, well, we're just going to let him ride. Like, people will die. We'll just let them know. And, if they die, they die. And if they're safe, then, they had their due diligence. It really does sort of evoke a modern problem, not just in sort of terms of, like, say, a pandemic, but in terms of how rich people in government deal with people in general. Oh, well, they'll take care of themselves if they really want to. Meanwhile, there's like a horrible force out there that doesn't really care about the precautions that you take. Um, like that's a real freaking thing. There's some Tokyo Pop stuff here. It doesn't have covers. Not going to really talk about them. Tokyo Pop is ran by a scumbag. So if they really wanted some stuff, they would some shine. They would give us some images and go from there. Redemption. The first issue came out this week. We do have a bunch of copies. I'm really excited about it. It's basically Mad Max, but what if it was a lot more Western instead of a lot more apocalyptic? It's still very apocalyptic, but definitely deals with a lot more Western tropes and is just an absolutely stunning book with female leads that really drive the story forward. Absolutely fantastically well done. I know Sunlight has been on here a few times before. Rogue Planet, which is a new one here. It's a Cullen Bunn, Andy McDonald joint. The salvage vessel Cortez tracks the lonely orphan, a planet with no star system of its own. Somewhere on this hostile rock is a payload fit for a king. To attain it, though, the crew of the Cortez must brave razor rock, poisonous vapors, treacherous footing, and the most mind-numbing horrors imaginable. Struggling to stay alive, they are beset at every turn by horrors of their own imaginations. Now, they have discovered that they are not alone on this planet, and other inhabitants welcome them as sacrifices to an elder god. Yes, so basically, space travel by way of H.P. Lovecraft, except way less racist, because H.P. Lovecraft was a dick. Those are always fun to do. Bam, 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 singing a song. And if I'm right, yep, that is pretty much it. Is there anything cool in books? Books? Yeah, no. That does that for the fun orders. We for non DC stuff, for diamond stuff, we'll just pop in with some DC stuff. But first we'll get to some comments. Simone, Maniac of New York is fascinating too. It is so good. And Danica says, and feminist, in regards to redemption. Yep. And Simone says he totally was in terms of, I believe, the Maniac of New York stuff. Or no, wait, sorry, yeah, he totally was in terms of the H.P. Lovecraft stuff. Yeah, because we've kind of like gone on about that before because you really like H.P. Lovecraft content. But it's that thing that all of us have to do, including ourselves, at the store, where we kind of go like, here's the art and here's the artist, and the separation of it. Like, H.P. Lovecraft ain't seeing that money, so it really doesn't matter. I feel like it's not benefiting him in any way to kind of like support that and encourage the art of it, and not the person themselves. So like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like this button is good for now. It doesn't really apply.
Vindication.
Yeah. I really love having buttons. Buttons are so fun.
Noise.
Yeah.
Aha! Noise.
We're gonna have some more button fun. All right. Let me get the screen share going for DC. First, gotta get the proper F.O.C. date going. Oh, right. I don't even have to change that because F.O.C. was early this week for the States. Yeah, that's kind of how we approach things at the store. There's a lot of problematic comic creators. You might not know it to hear us talk about it, because we're always big on people enjoying art, how they're going to enjoy it. But we will not hand sell a book from a known abuser that we know of, basically. And that's down to the line of, we're not going to give them our money. There's a couple folks out there who helped form me as a comics reader in person, and I can't sell their books. I won't sell their books. It breaks my heart, but at the same time, like, letting them know that their behavior was okay through just being like, oh well, but you're super talented. It doesn't sit right with us. But we're not about to basically like yuck somebody's yum if you're enjoying something. And quite honestly too, everyone has their different lines. We just personally ourselves feel a responsibility in our position, in the way that we present ourselves, that that we are in a position where we are responsible in a lot of ways. Our curation is responsible. So yeah, it's long, it's complicated. I might share a few articles on our social media that we've written and that have been written over the next week or so. Do you have a list somewhere? Because I need education. I know someone was working on a list. I'll see if I can find if there exists a fairly comprehensive one. We can go from there. I can tell you that stuff that you're buying from us, I can't identify anybody who I'd be like, I don't know. But I know that a lot of people have been doing some work out there, and that there is some coverage in comics journalism circles about like who maybe not to cover, but I don't think it's public. So I might be able to get you some names specifically. We'll see. Do some research instead of what Danica calls the Brandon file, which is just in here a list of various things that he keeps in his head. All right, for DC, we've got a few things, the continuations of a few series. I have been adoring the Batman black and white series that tell just phenomenal stories about Batman. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Batman, but here you're going to get yourself some a Chip Zdarsky with Nick Bradshaw. You're going to get Joshua Williamson and Riley Rossmo. Good Alberta boy, Riley Rossmo from Calgary. You're going to get Becky Cloonan and Terry Dodson. That is a combination, my friends. Daniel Warren Johnson, one of my absolute favorite comics creators, full stop. His series Extremity, just a two-parter. All of his series. He did Wonder Woman Dead Earth. That's just absolutely great. You're probably seeing Jim hanging around here because she's awake and she wants to see the tall man. That's what we say the cats call me. For those of you who don't know, which I don't think we've actually said that out loud on a podcast, or streaming. Daniel Warren Johnson does some absolutely phenomenal stories. Extremity is one of my favorite. It's basically like a Mad Max, but as though like Studio Ghibli, like the Miyazaki style. Kind of like a high fantasy warring factions, but about being an artist and being in a situation where war is more important than art. Just absolutely fantastic. And his Wonder Woman Dead Earth takes place way, 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 way in the far future, where Wonder Woman's fighting kaiju monsters. Oh, it's just phenomenal. He's doing the story here, is what I was getting at. And for a small group of people, it sees the return of Gotham Academy's maps. I love maps. She is one of the best. Gotham Academy was basically Scooby-Doo by way of Gotham. Super freaking awesome series. I really hope it's all in print currently. Batman Creature of the Night is one of my absolute favorites. Kurt Busiek and John Paul Leon do this story. Kurt Busiek did a Superman story in this vein, which is basically a sort of a real world take on the characters, and how that would happen in sort of like a very grounded way. So some bad stuff happens with this young boy's parents, and some Batman stuff happens, say, in our world, and it's thoughtful and thought provoking. And please don't sit on the computer. Thank you. Margaret says Maps is so great. I miss Gotham Academy. We all miss Gotham Academy. I feel like DC definitely needs to republish that in sort of like the graphic novel style. It's an easy layup. They've got it. They've got the content. They've got it ready. They can just make it happen. And that would be great. Going around the cat. Normally we don't talk about further issues, but Catwoman 29 is basically a first issue. If you want to check it out after the Future State stuff, Ram V is continuing with his Catwoman run, but this is a great jumping on point. So far, Selena Kyle's ambitious plans to gain control of Alleytown has been going perfectly, but she's about to run headlong into a brand new foe and pass right through them? Question mark. Riddles this, Catwoman. What do the Kadem mob and a non-corporeal assassin and Poison Ivy have in common? And when it comes to solving riddles, there's only one person Selena can go to, no matter how much she hates the idea. Oh, who could it be? It's just some great superhero stuff. Ram V is probably one of the next big creators. Just gonna say it. I highly recommend his stuff just anywhere. And we'll end up talking more about his stuff coming up very soon here for reasons. The Dark Knight's death metal, The Darkest Night, story with a whole bunch of the one shots that came out during death metal is here and collected if y'all wanted to kind of wait for that. The Flash starts a new run here. The retirement of Wally West begins. Basically, kind of tries to redeem Wally West because of all the things that have happened in Wally's past. I'm excited about the new Justice League book. Brian Michael Bendis is taking over with David Marquez, and Ram V and Zermanico are doing the backup of the Justice League Dark here. It is a big start for the new Justice League if you want sort of the big bombast. If you want all the heroes together fighting for good, this is an amazing, amazing starting point. I'm super excited. I hope that DC provides us with some preview PDF stuff for this. I'm not super hopeful because they've been only doing that for number ones, despite the fact that a lot of these that I'm showing you are number ones, including Tom Taylor taking over Wonder Woman with Bruno Redondo. There's been some art shown for this. Nightwing got some booty. I know we've talked about this on the shows before. We love us some Nightwing booty. He's supposed to have some booty, and Tom Taylor, of course, knows this. Nightwing is back, and his drive to keep Bloodhaven safe has never been stronger, but his adopted city has elected a new mayor with the last name of Zuko. You might, folks might know that name from general Gotham mobsterism in the past. And if you don't, now you do. I feel like comics shouldn't have that that barrier. So information for your face. Yay.
Turn down for butts.
I don't know why I pressed that button, but it worked out. And Jim seemed to be perturbed by it. I don't know if you saw her do that because I think she's underneath the camera right now. But she's hanging out right here in front of my keyboard. So it's like, I'm gonna try and get this done. Anyways, when Nightwing enlists Batgirl's help in investigating the politician bearing the same name as the man who murdered his parents, she unearths details that will shock and fundamentally change the hero. The New York Times best-selling team of writer Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo from Injustice and Suicide Squad are about to take Nightwing to the next stage of his evolution as a hero. Very, very excited about this book and that booty. And finally, to talk about here, Superman Up in the Sky is the Tom King, Andy Kubert story, finally in softcover. It's a big galaxy spanning story about what Superman means through the lens of Tom King, who has done the Vision series. That part of WandaVision is based off of the very domestic Vision series and the very domestic Mr. Miracle series. People accuse Tom King of being a very wife guy, and 100%. However, not necessarily a bad thing. I'm pretty sure that you could call me a wife guy, and I would not be unhappy about that. So, because my wife is freaking awesome. Spoilers for all of you out there. Yeah, and the Truth and Justice series, I do want to spotlight a bit because it is basically a digital first series that is taking a frame of, well, truth and justice through modern lenses and superheroes. So you have your prisoners around Metropolis are waking up in their old homes, unaware of how they got there, being accused of escaping from Rikers Island. Superman will need to use all of his powers and his journalistic skills if he's going to save these prisoners and get them properly exonerated. Probably some deeper stuff happening there. All right, folks, thank you all for watching this week's F.O.C. show. We will be back here. Our next show will be on Monday at 3 p.m. That is our Yeggs and Bacon show, where we were talking about pop culture news specifically. Couple things we're going to be talking about specifically. some news about Neoma show that may or may not be happening, and Naomi show that may or may not be happening, and a bunch of other stuff. Basically, some pop culture stuff. If you have any pop culture stuff that you want to talk about, let us know either in the comments here, in comments in general, messaging us on any of our social media, or showing up at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to talk to us about some pop culture stuff. And as always, thank you for watching, and we will talk to you again when we talk to you.